Okay, when you hear the word blockchain, your mind probably jumps straight to Bitcoin, right? But what if its biggest impact isn't on money, but on something, well, even more fundamental? I'm talking about trust. Today, we're diving into how this game-changing technology is set to completely overhaul the world of auditing, paving the way for a future built on transparency you can actually verify.
So, to really get our heads around this, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the problems plaguing auditing right now. Then we'll explore blockchain's core strengths, its superpowers really, that offer a solution. We'll see this in action, look at how the auditor's job itself is going to change, face some of the real-world challenges, and then we'll look to the horizon.
All right, first things first. Why are we even talking about this? Why does auditing need a shakeup? Well, it's because the traditional system, as solid as it's been, is really starting to show its age. It just wasn't built for the speed and complexity of business today.
And this right here, this really hits the nail on the head. A traditional audit is kind of like being a historian. You're looking back at a tiny sample of events, often months after they happened. It's slow, it's manual, and honestly, it leaves a lot of room for things to be, well, manipulated. Blockchain flips the script entirely. The auditor goes from historian to a live security guard. Everything is monitored continuously. It's not a sample, it's everything. And the records are locked in, making them incredibly tough to fake.
So, how does blockchain pull this off? Well, it all comes down to what I like to call its three superpowers. Three core features that directly tackle the weaknesses of the old way of doing things.
First, and this is the real game changer, is immutability. Just think of a financial ledger that's literally written in permanent ink. Once a transaction is on the blockchain, that's it. It's there for good. You can't change it, you can't delete it. For an auditor, this is huge. It means the evidence trail is rock solid, and the risk of someone cooking the books just plummets. Okay, next up, timing. Forget that frantic end-of-year scramble. With blockchain, you get real-time auditability. Auditors can literally watch transactions happen. This means you're not finding problems months later, you're catching them the second they happen. It's a total shift from reactive to proactive.
And number 3 is all about transparency. We're talking radical transparency here. Blockchain gives you a perfect, time-stamped, unfudgeable history of every single transaction. Think about a supply chain. An auditor can now trace a product from the moment it's made to the moment it's sold, verifying every single step along the way. There's just nowhere to hide.
So how does the magic actually happen? It's really just a simple 4-step process. First, a transaction happens. Second, it gets verified by a whole network of computers. Third, once it gets the green light, it's packaged up into a block. And here's the brilliant part. Step 4. That block is digitally chained to the one before it, secured with the cryptographic fingerprint of the previous block. It's like a chain of digital dominoes. If you try to tamper with one, the whole chain falls apart. That's what makes it so secure.
Okay, so that's the theory, right? But what does this look like in the real world? Let's get practical and see how these big ideas actually change the day-to-day grind for an auditor. One of the coolest tools in this new toolkit is the smart contract. And the best way to think about it is like a super smart vending machine. It's a piece of code that automatically executes a deal when certain conditions are met. For example, once the system confirms a delivery has arrived, a payment is automatically sent. No invoices, no waiting. For auditors, this means key controls are automated, which cuts down on human error and the need for endless manual checks. And this is where the rubber really meets the road when it comes to fighting fraud. Just think about the classic schemes. You try to alter an invoice? Nope, can't be done against an immutable history. You try to hide who really owns an asset? Too bad. Ownership on the blockchain is transparent and easy to prove. That whole window of opportunity to mess with the data before the auditors show up, it just slams shut. For every old trick in the book, blockchain has a powerful new defense.
You see what's happening here? This is a huge shift in thinking. The system itself becomes the source of truth. An auditor doesn't need to call a bank to confirm a balance anymore. The blockchain is the confirmation. The technology itself acts as that trusted, impartial third party, handing over rock-solid evidence on a silver platter.
Okay, so with a system this powerful and this trustworthy, it leads to the one question everybody's asking. Are auditors about to be out of a job?
The answer? Absolutely not. It's not about becoming obsolete. It's about getting a massive upgrade.
I mean, just look at the difference here. The auditor of yesterday was basically a detective, sifting through old paper trails looking for clues. But the auditor of tomorrow, they're more like a systems architect and a security expert rolled into one. Their job isn't to just check the past numbers anymore.
It's to validate the logic of smart contracts, to analyze the risks of the entire system, and to use powerful tools to do it. The focus shifts from what happened to, is this system built to be trusted?
Now, this all sounds pretty amazing, I know, but let's pump the brakes for a second and get a reality check. The road to this future isn't exactly a freshly paved highway. There are some serious bumps along the way.
And believe me, the list of hurdles is pretty long. We don't have universal standards yet, regulators are still trying to figure it all out, auditors themselves need a whole new skill set, and how do you get all this transparency without sacrificing privacy? Don't even get me started on trying to plug this into ancient company software. But even with all that, there's one challenge that's more fundamental than all the others.
So out of all of those issues, what is the one single biggest challenge that auditors are still going to face, even in this new blockchain world?
It boils down to a classic problem in computing. Garbage in, garbage out. See, blockchain is incredible at making sure that once data is in the system, it's secure and can't be changed. But it has zero ability to know if that data was correct in the first place. If someone enters the wrong number, the blockchain will protect that wrong number perfectly forever. And that's why the auditor's judgment is still absolutely critical.
Okay, so yeah, there are challenges. But let's be clear, the destination is not in doubt. The world is moving in this direction. So let's look ahead, beyond the roadblocks, and see what the future of assurance really holds. This isn't going to be a big bang. It's going to unfold in phases. In the near term, we're already seeing governments look at this for things like tax collection and property records. Then, in the midterm, you'll see entire industries like finance start using shared ledgers. But that's when things get really interesting. In the long term, you combine blockchain with AI to automatically spot weird patterns in real time. And the ultimate endgame? Fully automated compliance, where regulations aren't just rules in a book, they're actually coded right into the smart contracts themselves.
So, if you boil it all down, what does the future of audit look like? It's a world that is driven by data, not samples. It's instant, not historical. It's built on cryptographic security, and it's all centered around mastering technology. The best auditors of tomorrow won't be the ones who are best at finding yesterday's mistakes, but the ones who are best at building and validating tomorrow's trusted systems.
And that really leaves us with just one final crucial thought. We're moving into a world where trust itself is becoming a line of code. The big question isn't whether the profession is going to change. The real question is, are you ready to change with it?